Hey, Gator Nation. Welcome back to the Respect Our Decision podcast. It's October the 6th, and we got a jam-packed episode for you as always. With me is the hype man, Wes.
What's good, Gator Nation?
And the man, Mike.
What's going on?
And we got a lot to talk about today, guys. As you know, we didn't have a raw reaction episode this week, so we're going to talk a little bit about everything in this episode. And as always, guys, you can go ahead and download us wherever you get your podcast at. We're available on all major podcast providers. And you can also check us out on our YouTube channel. We recommend that you do Respect Our Decision on YouTube. Make sure you go ahead and subscribe to the channel. Hit the notification bell so you get a notification every time we upload new content. Our man Mike's always uploading video shorts of him in the trenches and good stuff like that. Had a couple this week. Hit big out there. Had a couple of viral videos of Mike in the trenches. Got some shout out love from 5 Hour Energy. Mike was pounding them back. 35,000 views on a video of Mike shooting out 5 Hour Energy drinks, and then people commenting that he was going to die of a heart attack. It was a wild scene.
I accept all challenges.
It's a good week, guys. Good week. As always, guys, if you'd like to support us as creators, make sure you check out our Patreon at Respect Our Decision. There's we appreciate all the love that you give us. Want to give a shout out as always, Utah Gator, for being our first patron. Brandon Stewart also supporting us on Patreon. You can support us in any way, guys. It helps us a ton to keep the content coming. We're gonna have future giveaways. We had a giveaway this last week for our patrons. And with that being said, guys, we're about to get into it. But as always, we want to go ahead and give a shout out to our sponsor at Camwood Supplements. You can visit them at camwoodsupplements.com. Good, clean supplements for your workout, for your digestive, your post-workout. Our man Wes, he tried the workout supplement this week. How'd you like it, man?
Man, I loved it, man. Mike has been getting on me about, I hadn't worked out in about a couple months, and I was slacking and every day talking to Mike, and he's been on it. He kind of motivated me. I tried the supplements and as far as the pre-workout, and it was good for me, man. I really loved it. I got to go back. My wife works out too, so she was on it as well. So we're there. We in there. So you guys, if you work out or thinking about working out, I suggest you try it. It's good for you.
Yeah, Mike put out a little video on our Twitter page this week of him using it, and then doing some upper body work. Scary stuff, guys.
Got to get the lats going, man.
Got to get the lats in, man. I'm not a workout guy,
gotta get the fans
but I highly suggest the digestive greens. They've helped me tremendous. I struggled with UC and have for over 20 years, and I've noticed a sizable difference since I started drinking them every night before I go to bed. So y'all go ahead, check that out, camwoodsupplements.com. Make sure you use code RESPECT20. Save yourself 20% off your purchase. And with that being said, guys, we're going to jump into the content for the week. But because we didn't do a raw reaction episode this week, due to some personal stuff that was going on, we're going to go ahead and just real quick before we get to our weekly recruiting stuff, and we're going to talk about the game versus Eastern Washington. We're going to keep it brief. We just want to hit on a few points that we didn't get to talk about. For those of you that saw the game, and I'm sure most people did, as long as you didn't have Dish Network, and lose service that day and have to scramble to find an alternative method, that would be me. You would have seen AR look pretty strong. I mean, as he should have, but he continued to build off of what I would say was a changing performance against Tennessee and looked a lot sharper. He did have to come out for a series because he got his ankle turned, and I believe the ankle was already bothering him, and I believe it was shown in a breakdown this week that on his long 45-yard run, you'll notice he never tried to hit high-end speed on that run. He cut well, but he slowed up at the end and avoided trying to push through, and it was just pretty much further evidence that he's dealing with something with that ankle that's giving him a little trouble, because that was before he even got it turned in the game. So there may be a reason AR is not doing all the running that we like to see him do, or we're used to seeing him from last year. That being said, I want to segue with that into Jalen Kitna. I mean, Jalen Kitna came in on that that drive for him and looked fairly sharp, threw a nice touchdown pass, and then finished 8 of 12, 200 yards. Guys, I mean, it looks like we got ourselves a backup quarterback that's capable. I mean, obviously it wasn't against SEC defenses. Mike, I kind of know what your opinion on that's going to be, and go ahead and say what you want to say. I know what you want to say.
Well, first, if I recall correctly, he's from Texas, not Arizona, so I already like him as QB2. But I mean, goes back to
and he's got pedigree.
Coach's son. Former NFL quarterback, so he has that pedigree. So with John Kitna, but and this is only one game, to put it in third quarter of one particular game, we beat Kentucky. Period. It's not even debatable. Because like I said, AR, I'm team AR. He's back. I love it. However, that game he had the ifs. It's blatant. It was blatantly obvious. For whatever reason, personal, physically, he just didn't have it. So it started with a series of two. Because AR, he did lose us that game. You can say growing pains, so on and so forth. You want to go with
you can blame coaches, you can blame whatever, but I
don't think it was coaching.
Well,
that's not coaching.
A lot of people, and I know you're not. I'm saying a lot of people in the Twitterverse and places like that have said, well, in the end, it's coaching. The coach called the plays but that's any game. You put your quarterback out there with the trust to execute said plays.
You can't call a play for someone who throws the guys can't throw a 5-yard comeback. You can't call
Some
a play.
people don't ever want to blame the quarterback when it's the problem, and then that's a tale as old as time. People.
I mean, if they want to blame someone for that play, I mean, we all agreed he should have ran the ball more. It wasn't ideal. It's shown he can obviously call some good games. But if you want to put that game on Billy over AR, you just don't know football, and I'm not going to argue with you. So they can be the keyword warriors. Like you're just dumb.
Kitna win us the Kentucky game?
I wouldn't say he won it. I mean,
I know. I'm saying would Kitna have made a difference in the Kentucky game?
He would have
voiced it that way.
I would say he would have put us in a better position to succeed for that game.
I think that's a better way of saying it. I think that's
at a point you insert him in the third quarter somewhere.
Even if it's for a couple series.
Period. Yes.
What do you think about that, Wes?
I mean, that's hard to say. Go
ahead, Wes. You're right. I know where you're going.
Yeah. The team we played, I mean, they're not, for fans who don't know, when we say FCS, that's not South Florida. It's not Florida Atlantic. It's not Miami of Ohio. This is Eastern Washington. So I want you to understand who we're playing. This is not a team that isn't even up to the standard of the teams that I just named before. They're not up to that level, period. And what we have to realize is Kitna just passed Engel on the depth chart. So Kitna wasn't even ready for Kentucky. So when we look at the depth chart, he wasn't even ready for that game. So I don't know how, because we saw this guy play against Eastern Washington. Now we all want to know that he could have, maybe he would have beaten Kentucky. He wasn't even past the walk-on 2 weeks ago, but now he could have beaten Kentucky. So that's just my opinion on it. I'm not going to draw it out long because we have some more stuff to talk about. To me, it is debatable because of the reason I just stated. We all feel how we feel about that, but I just want you guys to keep that in perspective. Meaning you guys, the fans, that was Eastern Washington, and then this guy wasn't even number 2 on the depth chart 2 weeks ago. So who knows?
It's an honest debate. It's an honest debate, and it bears wondering. But that's one of those what ifs that you'll play out.
All day
season.
Yeah, absolutely. And the last thing on that, real quick, Hirsch, it wasn't even that the quarterback needs to win us the game. We're just talking get a first down here or there. That's all.
Complete a short pass, hand the ball off.
Because you're clearly the better team.
Not turn the ball over.
They were begging us to beat them. But AR said, no, I want to lose.
In our best defensive game of the season.
Absolutely. So that's all.
It's a debatable topic, and it's one of those that you'll play out throughout the season. What if Jack Miller would have been healthy? We could have said, would he have come in that game? I mean,
Great question.
it's one of those things that you're just going to have to live with. That it is what it is. But now we've seen a little bit of a sample size, so we know that at least we have a quarterback on the bench that can complete passes. I mean, I'd like to see him obviously, like I'd like to see him in the fourth quarter of this week's game, being able to get some reps. I think I'd love to see that against an SEC defense. Hopefully that'll be something that's potentially able to happen. I think our wide receivers looked fantastic, as they should have, but Justin Shorter right off the rip, 75-yard reception. Justin Shorter now in the top 10 of receivers in the SEC yardage wise. I want to give a big shout out to Justin, friend of the show. But one of the best plays, one of the wrinkles that I saw that we've been begging to see was White Boy Rick getting a 70-yard end around touchdown. Once again, you've got to take into mind the competition. But that was a well-executed play, and you got to see what Ricky could do with the ball in space. And we've been wanting to see it for 4 games, this being the 5th. And Rick showed what he could do, man. The guy broke it down the sideline. We ain't seen a run like that in a long time of that kind of, in that kind of play. So it was great to see that receivers did their thing. Offense as a whole did what they needed to do. Wasn't real. The starting 3 running backs didn't exactly light it up. Like I kind of thought they might. I think I picked Trevor as my key player of the game, and while he had a decent, yards per carry, I mean, there was nothing crazy. There were no real long yardage breakoffs. AR had 45, Pearsall had 72. I think that run was, and everything else was. I mean, besides Lingard broke off a 20-yarder in the fourth quarter, everything else was pretty short. So. Once again, I mean, after Tennessee, we didn't run the ball very well. This week, we didn't exactly set the world on fire. Is that a concern for y'all going forward?
I saw a consistency. I mean, at the end of the day, we put an inferior team away. We had some chunk plays from players, our starters, like you said, Shorter and what's it called, Pearsall, and I saw some from a garage when he had that little dance. That's just like little things like that. You're enjoying yourself. You're having fun.
Yeah, they had a fun time.
Yeah, so I mean, teams like that, you should like. I look for little things like that. So I think that game was treated
nice, relaxing
more
week.
Exactly, some fine tuning. So no, I'm not that worried about it because I've seen AR once he once again he showed some consistency. And that's what I was really looking for. I wasn't really looking for an overall A to Z. I saw Kitna, step up. So I was looking. I saw Caleb Douglas catch a touchdown pass. So I'm looking at little things like that. I'm not looking like how the run defense play again. A particular player play. I'm just looking at little fine tuning. So.
Yeah, to your question, Hurst, as far as offensive line, to me, it is getting concerning with the last couple of weeks, the inability to run the ball. I just wanted to see dominance, and you like me, I've been on ETN's bandwagon. I wanted to see something explosive, like maybe a 60-yard TD run from the kid. I didn't get to see that. I just want to see our offensive line, and granted, I love to give specifics and details. We did kind of switch up our offensive line a lot too. We got some young guys in. I think I saw Leonard play like guard, both guard spots and
Brown
center.
Played. Everybody played
Brown.
a little bit.
So maybe that had a lot to do with maybe the first team O-line wasn't out there as much. So, but I do want to see. Hopefully, they can get back on track when we discuss the game this weekend. But yeah, I want them to get back to being able to dominate. I want to see alleyways for our running back. So, but I love what I saw. I always love the receivers. I always say Whittemore never drops anything. So that's my guy. Zipper was involved as well. He had a catch or two. So just love what I saw from the offense. Progressive.
Yeah, I mean, offense did their thing, man. They did what they had to do. let's flip sides of the ball real quick. And I only got a couple talking points real quick, and we're going to move on from this game. Thought Kamari looked very solid in his first start. Once again, going to keep saying it. Got to consider the competition. But he was in position to make his plays. Had a couple of good hits. As of this recording, the depth chart was just released, and Trey Dean is listed as the starter again this week. So I don't know how much Kamari will play this upcoming game, but he's definitely shown that he is the future. I mean, there's no doubt about it. I mean, he's going to be starting. If it's not before the end of this season permanently, he's going to be starting next season going forward. I mean, it's just inevitable. So it was good to see the young man out there and get to play and look good. But as a whole, his defense once again did not look great in the first. I mean, don't let the early score fool you. They were moving the ball on us again, running, passing, a lot of drop balls by their receivers wide open. I mean, they left plays out on the field. So once again, and my most concerning thing is why, with this level of competition, was our defensive line not dominant? I mean, maybe we had a bland scheme. I don't know for this game. Mike, what's your thought on that? Do you think maybe we were just playing a little bland on defense, maybe not dialing it up?
Yeah, a couple of things. What I've noticed thus far, obviously we have our deficiencies, but I think what I've seen so far with Tony, it's kind of bend but not break. Like, all right, we'll let you, if you want to get to, say, within 30, but like you're just not going to score a touchdown. You're kicking field goals. So that's what I've noticed so far, really. We'll have to see, obviously, more into the season if that's truly a strategy. But that's what what I've gathered. In terms of the O-line, I just think if there's just not a scheme fit, and we're not going to have a dominant O-line. Now, if we were running power running like last year, I think we're really, really good. But right now, I don't think they're a scheme fit. So I'm definitely tempering my expectations in terms of that. And also, they're going to play Naquan, who's not a scheme fit either. So that's going to hurt us as well. So we do have two capable backs, but we are limited in terms of scheme fit for that.
That's for me as far as the defense. I was on this guy a couple weeks ago, linebacker Scooby. He made some plays this week. I got to give Scooby a shout out for making some plays. He seems like he's progressing. I think he did pretty good well against Tennessee as well. We were disappointed in the loss, and kind of didn't highlight that part of the raw reaction. But to see him continue to get better at linebackers is a good sight to see. We saw some of the guys. We saw a lot of guys. Matter of fact, I mean, I think we played like a bunch of players this week. Of course, I got to shout out my big guy in the middle, man. Mike has been harping on the D tackles. I know he loves I keep pointing him out to him. My boy, Chris Mack, man. I'm going to call him Chris Mack because I don't want to butcher his last name, even though it's easy to say.
McClellan.
Yeah, I know.
I just call not hard, I promise you.
Yeah, McCullen. But I can say it, but I just like calling him Chris Mack. But anyway, he got in like maybe late second quarter, if I'm not mistaken. He was in the backfield first play. That's the guy I think you should pair with Dexter. I know we have Jalen Lee, and I forgot who else is in front in front as far as the tackles go. But the guy is flashing, guys. If you're watch number 7. When you see number 7 in the game, he's in the backfield. He reminds me, he's not the same build, but when we had guys in the backfield a couple years ago, when Ivy was in the backfield and Taven Bryan and Bullard, when he had the 20-some tackles for loss a couple some years ago, that's what Chris is doing. So look out for big number 7. He's doing his thing.
Simmer down.
What? He's a freshman. I love it. Every time I see the guy, he's in the backfield. I'm saying I love
compare Chris McClellan to Jonathan Bullard.
No, I didn't compare him. What I'm saying is I like every time I see him play, he's in the backfield like those guys used to be, and that's what
that's
what
a guy with 20 tackles for losses.
I'm saying that's what I can't see 20 tackles for losses. He's not playing yet. So I need to see more of Chris. I think he should be paired. I think he should start. Because I don't see that from Jalen Lee when he's in. I think Jalen Lee could be.
I'm not impressed by Jalen Lee.
Yeah, I think he may be a good depth piece, but Chris should be starting right now. I see more of him being that Dexter's getting double teamed. He's killing his one when he gets the opportunity because Dexter, and that's what fans do. They're getting on Dexter, but Dexter's getting double teamed a lot. Even in this game, I think it was triple team one time. But if that's going to happen, you put Chris in the middle to pair with him, then you have a problem. Now you can't really double team him like that because Chris is whipping whoever he's in front of every week in and week out. Watch the tape. If you think I'm lying, every time you see 70, he's whipping whoever he's in front of. So that's just my take on that. I'm gonna hype him up every time chance I get, as long as he continues to prove me right. So he's been doing it since I first said his name. So shout out to Chris, number 7, defense, Florida.
Just to piggyback off that, definitely kudos to Chris McClellan. Since some people don't want to say his last name,
Chris Matt.
And anyways, most of the time, his reasons young bucks aren't starting, and it could be a myriad of reasons. It could be they don't fully know the playbook yet, technique as well. They're only put in certain down and distances, so you have to keep that in mind. Obviously his role should expand throughout the season, but you need to spoon feed them, especially on the line of scrimmage.
Quick note on that, on what you just said. Billy referenced him specifically on the teleconference he had yesterday morning, that he's getting better with his technique. So I think that speaks directly to what you just said. That's the nice way of saying he's not quite there yet technique wise.
Absolutely,
but he's getting there.
No, I'm sorry, continue.
No, you're right. And I'm just saying that kind of says exactly why he's not getting the majority, getting a higher number of snaps now. He's progressing body-wise and technique-wise the way they want him to.
Yeah, and I love his build, but let's just say he gets in the backfield. What if he wasn't supposed to penetrate? You have to keep that in mind. Sometimes you got to
be a space eater.
Yeah, no, absolutely. So what if he's supposed to take on a double team? He penetrates. He like that. You have to keep this in mind. We don't know the particular what his role what the call is on that. So yeah, penetrate is nice and everything, but not if you're on a 3-3-5. 3-3-5, you need that plays for the linebackers. It's not meant for him. So there's a lot of variables. Then end of the day, technique is everything. Taking on a double team, it's tremendously hard, and you're gonna hold a guy and he's not ready physically yet. I mean, he's getting better obviously, but he's still not. He's facing grown men in the SEC. So I have the ceiling on him is tremendous, but we at the same time we just can't see flash plays and assume he's got to be in. No, I guarantee you he's missing assignments. I'll put everything on it. So it's got to be patient, at the same time, we can't hype, our coordinators, our coaching, and, Tony, apparently, he's the magic man on the defensive coordinator and not trust him. You can't, I thought you love, Spence, so you're not trusting him at the same time. So which one is it?
Talking to me?
Yeah, no, I'm not trying to start.
No. I get what you're saying.
I trust Coach Spencer. You get him in when nice and slowly, but he needs to know his assignments. He needs to know how to his technique right.
Yeah, I mean that's the same thing that we could say about if any position. I know Hirsch talked about Kamari playing, maybe starting at safety the rest of the year. Maybe there's a reason. I know fans, me included, want Trey Dean on the field. I mean, off the field, excuse me. But we don't know what Kamari knows right now to replace Trey Dean. We don't know. Yeah,
absolutely.
That's the thing. And then to go to each of us, we can say that even about the quarterback position. We may think that Kittner could have beaten Kentucky, and that could have been debatable. But if he can't check out of different things and say different things and hit this receiver here and there because he played Eastern Washington, now we think that he could have beaten Kentucky. That goes with everybody and every player that's young. I think Kittner's a sophomore, true sophomore. So that goes for each and every young player. We can say that about each and everybody.
He's a red shirt.
But to me, to my point, to talk about Kamari, and I'll wrap it up here. To talk about Kamari playing safety and Kittner playing quarterback. To me, D tackle is easier to play than safety and quarterback. And I don't think you guys can disagree with that.
It's widely known. It's always said it's easier to play the farther away you are from the line of scrimmage.
That's another debate
Everyone
for
says
another
that. There's a reason Florida always puts a corner, starts the 5-star corner on the outside. That's a fact. No, that I'm not even debating that. Everyone always says it. It's like I don't even know where this comes from.
No. I'm saying Kamari's not a corner though. Kamari's a safety. It's harder to play safety than corner.
I said as an example. I said farther away from the ball.
Yeah.
The trenches is the hardest, especially in the SEC, and I'll leave it at that.
Nah.
All right.
Disagree with that.
Conversation. Well, they always agree to disagree.
You can,
Conversation for another day. Because we're going to move on down the line, and we're going to jump into recruiting real quick, like we always do. Not a whole lot to cover this week. We're going to shoot through it real quick, and I'll hit some highlights in a second after Wes briefly just talks to us about Under the Lights. Wes?
Yeah, appreciate it, Hurst. Under the Lights, we don't have a lot for you guys, as you guys know, and shout out to our prayers and to all our Florida brethren out there that went through the hurricane this past weekend. There were not a lot of games played, not a lot of posts about different guys, but because we're going to talk about this kid a little bit later, and because he had a spectacular night, we have to talk about DJ Lagway. Because he's not playing in the state of Florida. We had his statistics for the night. This kid went 24 for 32, guys, for 388 yards and 4 touchdowns. And that wasn't the end of his night. This kid also ran the ball another 6 times for 76 yards and 2 TDs. We want this kid as QB1. A lot of us talked about, and I'll save that for later. But the kid had a phenomenal night. That's my QB1. I know Hurst has talked about it. I want to hear Mike talk more about him because Mike knows I love the 24 kids. He focuses on the 23 guys. But being that we don't have
kids
that,
don't exist right now.
being that we don't have
this one does.
As far as quarterback, because they commit so early and they kind of control the class. Once you get them on, the quarterback is like a early class guy. He's like that class before. Once you
need
somebody
the
like him
quarterbacks as soon as possible.
But he had a phenomenal night.
And I think that's our goal. DJ Lagway is quarterback 1 for 24 until he's not. So, all right. Well, that being said, guys, we're going to jump into just some quick recruiting updates before we get into Missouri. Few little things out there. I'm going to start kind of on the not so surprising end and move on. Curacao out of Alabama this week received a future cast prediction to Alabama from Chad Simmons at On 3. Chad's pretty dialed into that recruitment, so I'm sure he must have heard something. We'll have to find out with that. I know that he's planning on visiting us for the LSU game with his teammate, defensive tackle Jonathan Smith, both 5 stars out of Alabama. So we'll just have to wait and see what happens in that visit before we, go ahead and say that ship has sailed. But I know he's genuinely interested. It came out this week that his mom likes Florida a lot. Not always important. I know we've seen that kind of not go our way a lot of times. So I try not to harp on that too much. But get them on campus, see what happens. That's all what you got to do. Not a whole lot of visits for this weekend for homecoming, but the one visit that previously this week had looked like it was not going to happen and now is on again is show favorite defensive tackle Caden McDonald out of Gwinnett, Georgia. Caden hurt his ankle this last weekend, apparently in his game, and the plan was for him to stay home and try to rehab his ankle. That was per Corey Bender on 3. Corey does a phenomenal job, but he put it out today that he had talked to Caden's people. I don't know if it was the coaches up there or whatnot, but Caden will be making the visit down this weekend. I expect the coaching staff to give him the full court press. He's really kind of, from what it looks like, down to us, Clemson, and Michigan, with the decision coming at the end of this month. I mean, we've raved about this kid from the moment we saw his stats from last year. He's already on a similar trajectory for this year. He's already got 20 tackles for a loss. He's already got 7 sacks on the year. I don't know how much time he's going to miss. I don't know the severity of his ankle injury, but that's for a defensive tackle, that could be end of the season stats, and you would still say, "Oh man, that was a good season." We're all very familiar with Mike's take on this situation. But in case if you're not, Mike, say it one more time just to let people know.
Get me a nose tackle.
This man is the pure definition of a nose tackle, except he just seems to be an ungodly force at the position. I'm like I've said many times, I'm from the Atlanta area. I know the quality of competition he plays against. I've never seen a defensive tackle put up the kind of numbers he has in the amount of time that he has. It is ridiculous. And you don't. What's that, Wes?
No, I was going to say that I think the only knock against him from some schools to give fans a reason why you might, because the way we hyping up, he should be a 5-star in my mind. I think it's his height. He is short. Yeah, and that's the reason why he's not as high as he should be in your opinion. I don't know how Mike feels about him because Mike hasn't. We haven't really talked about him that much, but I love the kid. So Mike, I hope he is the nose, and you can lay off Spence, but because he's that good, Mike, like for real.
Mike knows.
I'm just being patient. He's taking sweet little time. Apparently, no, we don't need a nose tackle. No, I mean being stout. That's debate. What's it called? What's he about 6 foot?
6'1", so probably 6
that's
foot.
That's absolutely perfect. I think what was his name? He had a crazy Dwayne Robertson out of Kentucky.
I remember.
There you go.
Hey, I mean a bowling ball, you get it done.
It's little thing I like to call leverage.
Aaron Donald's wasn't the most tall,
Yeah.
It doesn't matter if you've got the technique and you've got the
hands,
the drive, and the motor. You can overcome size. I mean that's.
It actually puts him at that position. It actually puts him at advantage, especially on the center.
Yeah, he can get leverage over some of those guys,
and especially with his size. Let me see. Yeah, Dwayne Robinson, he went like top 5, top 6, 10 in the draft. He was 6'1". So it's not a problem.
Maybe he can motor and ability to get better.
Yeah. So the only problem that really presents is batting balls down. So
yes.
Which
we don't do anyway, so it doesn't matter.
Same time though, you still have your 3 techs and your 5 techs. So, but no, at that position, I'm not worried about it at all. I just want pure penetration and someone to honestly take on blocks. I'm not even. Just take on blocks penetration. So
if Clemson wants you on D-line, and we
absolutely, we've said that before. Yeah. And I'm not gonna sugarcoat it. Clemson is our competition for this kid.
Agreed.
I don't see him going up north. But you got to sell it out this weekend. I mean, if he's the only kid really that's there, like I'm sure some of our commits will come. They come every weekend. You might have a few late last minute guys that say, "Oh, I'm going to pop into Gainesville for a visit," But this kid is number one priority on campus this weekend, unless some 5-star shows up that we haven't heard of. This kid needs to get the red carpet and then needs to be pointed to the field the entire time and said, "You're in that rotation next year," because it's there. Take it.
Yeah.
I mean, who's keeping you off the field? Yourself. You're the only person that can keep you off that field next year. I mean, I'm talking about in the rotation. I'm talking.
Yeah, I got you. Yeah. He can be there. He can be there. To your point, and to hype up that point, this is something we might have to worry about in the past, but we have to shout out our Katie and the crew as far as what they do, as far as giving these kids the full red carpet, like you said, the red carpet experience. So I don't doubt them, like how we might have in the past, like, man, we got a game. We need this guy. It won't be because they fumbled the balls.
No, they won't fumble the ball. But what needs to be shown is the playing time. I think that's the A1 thing that you show this kid over and over and over again. You see Jalen Lee. I've got my own personal feelings. Jalen Lee won't be on this team next year. Just a personal thought that maybe he's
bold. That's bold.
I'm just saying. I think he may transfer. I think he may
he'll still be in the 2 deep.
I think he may leave. I think he may realize maybe he's not a fit for this. That's my personal opinion. Because I think he sees himself getting passed up. He's got passed by Watson. He's already been passed by Watson.
And the freshman is coming.
And
but
the freshman.
Still going. I mean, it's tough. It's the toughest. The trenches are the toughest.
I'm not saying they're not. I'm just saying the kids losing snaps by the week.
My guy's
I
coming.
see what you're saying. I don't think he. I mean, the bottom line.
You're in a different age now, though. Can I go somewhere else and start and play 50 snaps a game?
He's physically ready. What's it called? McDonald's. He's physically ready.
Yes.
So, I mean, and he's, at the same time, it comes down to technique as well.
Absolutely.
So that's what.
Like I said, you can point to that rotation and say you can play next year, because now there's only 3 guys that I can see above him, and that's if Lee stays on campus.
Fair.
I mean, so, even if he does stay on campus, that puts you in the 4, in the rotation of 4. Because we know Desmond Watson's not going to play 60 snaps a game, 50, 60 snaps a game. I don't care how much weight he sheds. It's not realistic.
He would literally die.
I mean, and he may be, we've heard how committed he is, and he may lose 40, 50 pounds between now and next season. It could happen. I'm not saying he is. I'm saying it could.
I'd scoff louder if I could.
But he's still not going to play 50, 60 snaps.
No.
And he shouldn't. So anyway, moving on. Big piece of news dropped today. Big piece. And if you haven't heard it already, breaking news here. Cormani McClain canceled his visit to Alabama this weekend to watch Bama, Texas A&M. I know Bama guys are out there saying, well, he's going to come later. But if you've paid attention lately, you've noticed Cormani has made statements. Now, I have not heard it directly from Cormani. It's been kind of puppeted out by other people. So maybe we're not hearing exactly what his thoughts are. But the word has been he's looking to end his recruitment sooner than later. So a later visit to Bama doesn't make a whole lot of sense if that is true. I think with the weekend we have next weekend looming, and I'd bet the house today Cormani's on campus next weekend.
Agreed.
I mean, given the weekend they have planned next weekend, if he's not here, I'll be blown away.
Then we lost him if he don't come next week.
But here's the thing. Cancel this weekend, not going to Bama. He comes next weekend. Things set up very nicely for Cormani McClain to be a Gator sooner than later. And that's what your hope is, that he never makes that trip to Bama. Shut him down. Thanks, but no thanks, Nicholas. We're good here. I mean,
stuff him in the locker. I mean, it's easy money dealing with the corners and Nick Saban from the state of Florida.
Yeah, I mean, Hershey. I mean, the tea leaves point. I mean, we heard this week or 2 before that he was thinking about shutting it down, and then you go to this week, Alabama's big game, Jimbo versus Saban, and he's not going. To me, that bodes well in our favor as far as
something's up there.
Yeah, and then our big weekend is next weekend, so he doesn't go to their big weekend. I mean, anything else need to be said?
I think it's hold on to your seats, ladies and gentlemen. I'm going to segue with that point into our next one, which is next weekend is a huge weekend. I mean, we're not going to cover most of it here because we're gonna next week we're gonna talk about it in depth. We'll have a better visitors list, but it's going to be 5-star Royale in Gainesville next weekend between the 23 class and the 24 class. I can go ahead. I could run down a list right now of 5 stars from the 24 class, including DJ Wagway, who has said he's trying to get back for next weekend. Him and his dad and the staff are working it out. I'm not saying he is coming. I'm saying he's working on coming. I know Jeremiah Smith, Trader, the two receivers out of South Florida are both coming, both 5 stars. I mean, this weekend is going to be stacked. Russaw will be there. Smith will be there. Deshaun Johnson will be there. I don't know if Cormani will be there or not, but I'd be shocked if he's not. Like I just said, it's too. Billy has had this planned for a long time, and there's a reason behind it. Just like he had Friday Night Lights planned out, this is planned out. It's going to be a spectacle of recruits for a 7 o'clock game against LSU in the Swamp. It's going to be loud. Mike, you going to be in the trenches that weekend?
Yeah, man, and I'm not gonna lie, I'm pissed. So I hate night games. All right, I am not a fan of these freaking night games. I mean, it's not gonna even matter me being tired. I like 1 o'clock games. I don't know who else can agree with me, but like this, when I saw the 7 o'clock game, I almost didn't want to go. But I'm obligated, so I made previous commitments. But I'll be there. I'll be and I'm trying for Texas A&M and FSU. So we'll see on those. But no,
Mike might be making a road trip for the A&M game to go visit. He might be part of the Yell the night before.
I can't. those people.
Mike's going to get his overalls out and go hang out with the boys and do some cat calls or whatever the hell that is they do. But real quick before we end this and we move on to Missouri, guys, just hang in. There's going to be this week between now and our show next week. There is going to be an avalanche, I'm sure, of visits announced. We're going to do our best to we'll tweet them out, we'll retweet it, and then we'll have a kind of a breakdown next week on next week's show. Next weekend could be bigger from a recruiting standpoint than Friday Night Lights. I mean, it's a very, very possible situation because Billy has staged it this way. And if you don't think Billy Napier knows what he's doing in the recruiting game, this is just another example. A lot of teams have burned up their official visits. Billy has back-pocketed most of his. And that is old school coaching.
Like Keely.
Keely's that, and that's what I wanted. I'm hesitant to say because
at least he did. He held on. At least he held on to it.
He held the visit.
That's what I was more alluding to that. Sorry.
Yes, absolutely. It's there. Speaking of Keely, his mother came out this weekend and said they haven't decided about taking an official visit yet, but they are discussing it. So that's up to the staff. The staff has to do their job.
Make the call, Wes.
Make the call.
That's my guy. I need him.
Man. He needs it, man. That's
that flight to Tampa, man.
That would be Wes's App State over A&M pick right there.
Yeah,
I mean,
I got him to decommit. I got him to get from Notre Dame. I said he was going to decommit from Notre Dame. I got him from there. The staff got to do their part. The staff has to do his part.
No, absolutely. The staff. This is one of those things where you want to be elite recruiting dog. You make it happen. You put in the hours. Now, I have heard rumors of Keely has a handler and that he's tough to do business with. But guess what? You want to recruit against big boys, you got to take on all comers. Guess what? Georgia deals with handlers. Bama deals with handlers. Ohio State deals with handlers. You want to recruit those guys, you got to deal with them. And with that being said, guys, we're going to wrap it up. We'll have a big recruiting breakdown next week for the visits, and hopefully we're heading towards some really good news on the recruiting front. And that being said, we're going to move into this week's game, and Mike's going to hit us with his Missouri breakdown like he does every week. Mike?
Yeah, just start out Missouri at a glance. Their coach, what's it called? Elijah Drinkwitz is entering his 3rd season as a coach there. Currently has an overall record of 23-15, 8-12 within the conference. Finished 6-7 last year, 3-5 within the conference. and he beat us. Something that occurs often. So the victory actually overlap from last year. That was the nail in the coffin for Dan Mullen's tenure with the Gators. And after Mullen was fired, Drinkwitz actually said, "My father was a farmer, and there's an old saying: you reap what you sow. If you sow kindness, you reap kindness. If you sow jackass, you reap jackass." And for that, I agree with him because Mullen is a jackass. Additionally, Missouri has been Florida's Achilles heel since joining the SEC for the 2012 season with a 5-5 head-to-head record. Also, off-season awards. You have Javon Foster, third-team specialist. Harrison Mevis with third team as well. Their punter. Impact players. You have Tyrone Hopper. Yes, that's Tyrone Hopper. Transfer from UF. Of course, Bateman's got us 32 on a season, 32 tackles, 1 forced fumble, a pick, 6 and pass deflection. Also, they have a two-headed monster at running back, Nathaniel Pete, 56 attempts, 262 yards, 4.7 yards carry, and 1 touchdown. Also, Cody Schrader, he's their moneymaker, 46 attempts, 262 yards, 5.7 yards carry with 3 touchdowns. Wide receiver, Jalen Hyatt, 27 receptions on the year, 460 yards, 17 yards per reception with 2 touchdowns. Their kicker, he is that's Harrison Mevis, is the pardon me, and misspoke earlier. He's not the punter. He's obviously the kicker. He's a reigning SEC Special Teams Player of the Week. He hit 5 of 5 field goals last week against Georgia, including 2 from 40+ and 2 from 50+. His final make of the game was a 56-yarder. Also, he's a defensive back, Jalen Carlisle's 33 total tackles, 1 forced fumble, and a pick. Now, season outlook for them, before the year, they actually finished 6th in the East, 1 above Vanderbilt for perspective. They were picked to go They were picked to go 8-4 by the Riders at Athlon, and also first. My apologies, I can't talk today. That was actually last week. First team out of the AP top 25. What we got here? And sorry, I'm misspeaking. Week 1, Louisiana Tech. They beat them 52-24. Week 2, Kansas State. They lost 40-12. Week 3, Albion Christian win 34-17. Week 4 at Auburn, lost 17-14. Week 5, and we're going to get more in depth with the group, lost Georgia 26-22. Big time game. They entered as a 4 touchdown underdog. Missouri actually led 13-0 in the second quarter. Georgia outgained Missouri 299-100 in the second half with a 23-6 scoring run to end the game, starting with the final play of the second half. UGA didn't find the end zone until the final 10 minutes of the game, and they had some controversial no calls, but still no excuse because Missouri didn't capitalize on those opportunities. And also, last little tidbit, against FCS schools, they clobber those with winning 86-41. However, against FBS schools, they're have been losing point total of 83-48. Now, Hirsch, you want to touch on some of those strengths? And once again, my apologies, guys, on some of those stats. You're muted, Hirsch.
Sorry, guys. My throat's been acting up all week. Trying to drink a lot of water. Yeah, their strengths are they've got some really good running backs. They showcased those in the UGA game. And they have some talent around their skill positions. And one of the key things that I saw against UGA was that they were getting a lot of pressure from their defensive line, especially off the edges. So something to look forward, during this game is if we can keep them out of our backfield, and we're going to talk about that here more in a little bit, but that was definitely one of the strengths I saw of their game was their ability to generate pressure against obviously we know UGA has some high recruits on their offensive line. They always do. So if you're getting pressure against those guys, I mean, offensive line better eat their Wheaties and do their job. But they have a lot of weaknesses too. From top to bottom, not a very talented football team. I mean, they're not. And their quarterback, Brady Cook, is a very average quarterback. I mean, we've seen 3 of maybe the top, Will Levis not being good at football regardless.
Obviously not.
But we've seen 3 of the better quarterbacks in the NCAA in our first, 5 games of the season. So this kid ain't going to measure up to them. So you can't make this guy look like a world beater. You've got to shut him down. I would like to see our corners play a little tighter up in this game. But before we move on to Florida, guys, I want to talk about that UGA game for a second. I watched all of that game, and I know Wes did as well. These guys, now, it's on their own field. Obviously, that always helps. But they gave UGA fits. I mean, for 4 quarters, they gave UGA fits. Now, do I think UGA self-inflicted a lot of stuff? Absolutely. Stetson Bennett looked a lot like AR did against Kentucky and South Florida. His numbers matched. The difference is he's got a guy like Brock Bowers to bail him out, and a lot of, I think we can all say without a shadow of a doubt that Brock Bowers is an all-world talent.
Yeah, extremely good. He's good at football.
Wes, you're muted.
Oh, my bad. I was just saying he might be the best player in college football.
I don't know if he's the best player in college football, but he's up there. His talent, the things he can do, that they use him in like end arounds and stuff like that is ridiculous for a tight end.
Yeah.
The kid is an amazing athlete. There is no doubt about it.
But yeah, we'll save that for Georgia week. But yeah, he's talented.
I mean, I don't compare. I know a lot of people are, he's better than Kyle Pitts. He's a different player than Kyle Pitts.
Exactly.
He's not a true. He doesn't play in line. Really.
He's more. God, he reminds me of an old-fashioned wingman almost. The way he plays, it's just crazy. Some with the runs and the pass catching he does. That's Now, with that being said, I think after you lose a game like that, and then you go on the road, you're up for a tremendous letdown. Or you should be ripe for a tremendous letdown. Let me say that. All in the history of college football, we've seen it happen so many times. You play a heartbreaking game like that. You leave it all out on the field, on your home field. And we've talked about it even in our season preview. We have to play Georgia, and then we have to go to Texas A&M, which is going to be a hard game for the simple fact that we're going to have a hard-fought game against Georgia and then have to go,
on the road.
Texas. SEC on the road is no joke.
It's different.
And the Swamp for homecoming, while not a night game, should be rocking. It's going to be a tough road to hoe for these boys. I hope. The dominoes fell in line for us to be able to really take advantage of this. Like Mike said, their offense could not finish drives. I mean, their kicker now, he was great. He was the dog the week before when he had missed a crucial kick. But then he redeemed himself admirably. He can kick it from anywhere on the field. If they cross the 50, they're pretty much in field goal.
That's a true weapon. Eddie, pretty much like Eddie Pinheiro.
Yes. Except this guy is he's something to behold. He looks like a guard. But if they cross the 50, you got to start thinking they're in field goal range. So the key there is don't let them score touchdowns. And but we're going to get to that in a minute. Wes, any other takeaways you want to add about that Georgia game? Like I said, I know you watched it.
No, I mean, you Georgia kind of shot themselves in the foot. They and had some turnovers. I think they did a read option one time and had a little turnover with the running back.
Sloppy play.
Yeah, they were sloppy. And Missouri kind of took advantage of some of the things. They had a play where the running back rushed all the way, like a 60-yard run, but he got tackled on the one. They didn't convert that into touchdown. Yep. And that, I think that key play is to me what lost them the game. They could have really
put on the next play.
Yeah, they could have really put Georgia on their toes and really had them scrambling instead of having it close. Just between 3 and 4, or 3 and 7, let me say that 4 points made a difference in the end of the ball game and what Missouri had to do towards the end. So that was something. Then the last play, not like the Georgia's last touchdown, that last play, what was kind of like a false start there by the receiver that was missed by the refs. They put themselves in a position for that. So, but they did give a great effort against Missouri. But you already pointed out to the things that when you do that at home and then to bounce back and go play on the SEC in the road, is going to be difficult. So,
you snatch defeat from the jaws of victory on your own field. Morale wise, it's like, well, golly, we can't get any closer than that. I mean, and let me say one other thing as we move into the Florida section of this. I've heard it all week. Our guys want this game. They remember last year. They remember the disrespect that happened last year. They want this game. I mean, so I got a feeling we're going to see quite a few guys come out hungry and ready to show. So that said, we're going to move into a new segment we got this week, guys. It's called the Pick Six. And what we're going to do here is we're going to talk about 3 things, one from each of us that we need to do to beat Missouri. And then we need to do 3 things, one from each of us that we need to avoid versus Missouri. And this is going to be a new weekly segment. We hope y'all like it. Let us know what you think. But we're going to start it right off. What the Gators need to do to beat Missouri this week. Wes, what do the Gators need to do in your eyes?
Play clean ball. It's something I'm kind of harping on the last couple of weeks. No turnovers. And again, said it a couple weeks ago, said it last week. I'm looking at you, AR. Don't need the interception. I'm your guy, man. I've been on AR. I've been riding with him since week 1, through the lows, the downs, and the ups. But I don't want any interceptions. I don't want any turnovers. Just want clean ball by the offense. And I think if the offense plays clean with no playing home, no stupid penalties by the offensive line, no turnovers by AR, that's what I think is as far as me is the key to victory this week.
Mike? Put them to bed early. They started out quick versus Georgia, and they capitalized. So, we definitely hold the talent advantage. We hold the coaching advantage. So let's take care of business. Get the crowds homecoming, and let's run up the score. That coach is a piece of crap. So
yeah, I don't like the guy either. Mine is something that I'm just waiting to see. I want to see more 3rd and longs. I need to see this defense put more offenses in a 3rd and long situation where they can't just throw a 4-yard slant or dump off to the running back in the flats and let him run 4 yards and fall forward and get a first down. The defense is putting themselves at a disadvantage all the time in these 3rd and 5 or less situations. Need to see more 3rd and 8s, 3rd and 9s, 3rd and 12s, get some tackles for loss in there would be great. Things like that. Put these guys where they have to just don't make it easy for them. And that's what we've done. It's made it easier for teams. You make the playbook a lot smaller when you don't execute on 1st and 2nd down. All right, guys, now we're going to go to 3 things that the Gators need to avoid. Mike, you go first on this
one. Pretty much the opposite. We can't let them start fast.
That checks out.
Yeah, no, I mean, you saw what they did to Georgia. Georgia's a pretty good football team, so they can obviously them starting fast obviously gives them some confidence. They did play a pretty close game against Auburn as well. I mean, Auburn's not the best football team. They're coached by a horrible, arguably worst coach in FBS. So he's awful. Let's call a spade a spade. Should have been fired if they're good kicker. Actually made a kick. So anyways,
he's a good judge of talent.
Yeah. Hey, man. But no, hey, but bottom line, just like I said, you can't let them start fast because it builds our confidence. So we can't not let that happen.
Wes, what do the Gators need to avoid?
I know we kind of jotted down some stuff. I switched because the conversation you guys said. I'm gonna go with field possession. We have to avoid special teams mistakes, holdings on special teams, especially when we fair catch it. So I want us to avoid bad field position put there by our special teams. I need our punt return and our kick returning specifically to be better. I need better guys on the field that doesn't do dumb penalties like holding when we call fair catch, and I need ETN returning some of those kicks to get him more touches because I'm an ETN fan.
All right. Mine is chunk yardage plays. Man, I'm so tired. I know I'm harping on the defense a lot, but I think they deserve to be harped on. God, I'm tired of seeing big gains against us just because of maybe a missed assignment here, missed assignment there, guys not knowing their coverage responsibilities. Obviously, we saw it against Tennessee, how it just killed us, in any momentum we possibly could have had. Big play down the sideline against Marshall, blown coverages by Dean and Helm. I mean, man, I'm tired of it. I don't want to see the Florida Gators should not be giving up 20, 30, 40 or longer yard plays on a regular basis. I understand it's going to happen from time to time. Every team gets tricked, gives up a big play. But we're giving up way too many per game. And that's what I need to see eliminated. I need, I understand like I said, everybody's going to get theirs. So you're always going to have a guy maybe that misses his assignment, but it shouldn't be happening 3, 4, 5 times a game.
Agreed.
That is something we should be at the point of the season. This is the halfway point when this game is done, where a lot of that stuff stops happening. And I say a lot, but if you're not getting it done, next man the hell up. Because I'm not going to quit saying it. I want 11 guys out there that do their responsibility, play in and play out. Not just Ventrell Miller. If you're supposed to contain. If you're supposed to do in a squat zone, stay in that zone. If you're supposed to be over the top, get your ass over the top. Be there. That's just a big thing for me. I'm tired of watching the Florida Gators defense give up huge gains and give teams momentum back time and time again. Kind of goes in with what Mike said. Don't let them start fast. Don't let them get these yards. Don't, put them in the hole early. So that being said, guys, we're going to move on down the line to our impact players of the game. We do it every week. Mike, who's your impact player of the game this week?
This one's out of left field. Keon Zipper.
He's starting to shine.
I just got a gut feeling. He had a good one against Tennessee. Obviously, I was there and he did into my end zone. So pause, and I got a good feeling about him.
Mike,
my guy. Yeah. I haven't called on this name, and you guys allowed me to do it early in the year, so I'm gonna do this again, and you guys will feel me when I say this. My impact player is not a player; is a coach. I'm gonna go with Billy Napier. You guys have been talking about the reason being because him being the OC, you guys have wanted him to maybe call the game different in certain aspects, tailor the game maybe more to the AR strength. And I want to see how this is week 5. I've been harping on him week 6, as far as the adjustments, as far as him being the methodical coach that he is. We've seen AR the last 2 weeks look great. So I want to see that consistency from the offense. So when I say I don't want to look at one player, because we play 3 running backs, we got 3 different receivers that could explode. I want to see what he does in this game. So I'm gonna go. I did Patrick Tony week 1 against Utah. So this week I'm gonna do the OC, not the head coach, the OC Billy Napier. That makes sense. You guys like that?
I guess for impact persons, yes.
Well, I mean, the announce crew this weekend told me that Rob Sale was the offensive coordinator, so I don't know what you're talking about.
Yeah.
Good God, that's the worst announcing.
He is.
No, but you didn't. If you didn't watch the game, that was the worst announce crew ever. We got an FCS opponent and a high school announce team.
Yeah, man, that was horrible.
I just said his name. Mine is Ventrell Miller. Like I said earlier, Missouri's got a good group of running backs. They're going to run the ball on you. They're going to try to anyway. And what does Ventrell Miller do better than anyone? Stuffs the run, man. That guy, wherever that running back goes, Ventrell Miller seems to follow. He's the heart and soul. If Ventrell helps shut that run game down, I got a feeling we put these boys in a corner real quick. Now, obviously, the other linebackers and support need to do their job, but Ventrell Miller has always been the run stopper, and I have a feeling that he's going to do it this game and put the ball in their quarterback's hands, and that's a good thing for us. So, guys, with that being said, every week, score prediction. Wes, what's your prediction for this game? I'm sure it's outlandish.
Not this week. Not this week. I'm pretty down on the defense.
Less than 100 points?
Nah. 33-20.
That's respectable. That's a respectable prediction from Wes.
Yeah, man. 13 points. Not even two touchdowns.
He must not be lucid right now.
That's 3 field goals.
Mike, what you think?
2 field goals.
I got 36-16.
Woo! God, Mike went higher than Wes.
Amen.
I say, and I'm just, just call me pessimistic, I guess. I don't know.
We already do.
Yeah, I know. But I try to be the real one on this show. I'm going 27-21. But I do think that's a late touchdown by Missouri, probably later in the game when we've kind of got it in the bag.
Little backdoor cover?
Little backdoor cover, yeah.
Patient souls.
But I got a feeling this is going to be an old-fashioned run fest, too. I can just kind of got that feel to it. They're a running team. We're primarily a running team, which means we'll probably pass for 420 yards now that I've said it. But that's how I like to roll, man. I like to give the reverse jinx on things, and then things go our way, man. So, we'll see what happens. But I think we all agree the Gators should win this one. We should really win it handily. All things have kind of flowed in our favor for this one. Homecoming, them coming off a crushing defeat at home, going on the road. I mean, it really shouldn't be much of a contest. Plus, it's a little bit of a revenge game for us, or at least it should be viewed as that. I know Ventrell will probably have them slapping each other in the locker room before the game. But hopefully we have a great Raw reaction for y'all this weekend, and we've sent these boys back home crying. So, guys, what?
I didn't mean to cut you. You know what I find crazy? And we can talk about this later, maybe
Your
in
score
the season.
predictions.
No, not that. It was you guys' record for the season, and you guys haven't picked us to lose yet. But that's just crazy to me. I like it though. I like because you say conflict games, and then you
well,
your heart.
If we pick us to lose, people are just gonna complain about us and say we're not fans.
Oh man, yeah,
and every game was winnable. So what's your point?
Shout out to that's true.
No,
shout
literally
out to
every game was winnable.
Only one person picks the Gators to lose, and that's our boy Ryan on Twitter, and he gets blasted by 10 new random people each week that don't understand that that's his shtick.
Ryan literally hates life.
Yes, Ryan police. He's the one that says you can't wear jerseys as a grown man. I'm not gonna. Yeah, never mind.
Let's go.
I don't clothing watch any human being. Shout out to you, Ryan. We love you, but not really.
I don't.
All right, guys. We do it every week. It's our Pick Ems. And boy, I tell you right now, Hirsch had another outstanding week, but his boy Wes was right there with him. 7-3 for Hirsch last week. 7-3 for Wes. And Mike 6-4.
What's the overall records?
The overall records now stand Hirsch 36-14, commanding 5-game lead in first. Wes has moved into second, 31-19, and Mike's sitting there in the trail position, about to get hit by a banana peel from the Yoshi at 30-20. We got some games this weekend though. I mean, some of them are easy, some of them aren't. I'm sure we'll have some outlandish predictions. So we're gonna jump right into it, guys. Gonna make y'all make a choice right off the bat. Tennessee at LSU. Wes, go first.
Guy. Oh, you're not. I thought the third place guy was gonna go first, but
no, you're right. No, it doesn't matter. We're gonna flip him every time anyway.
It's fine. Don't matter. I don't want him to. He's gonna choose after me too. So I'm gonna go with. I said the Volunteers earlier. I think we were talking on pod that they may have a chance to beat Georgia. So I'm gonna ride with them, continue to be undefeated. I'm gonna go with the Vols over LSU.
Mike.
Jaden Daniels is gonna have a huge game at LSU. Death Valley, ridiculously louder than that barn known as the Neyland Stadium, that little trash pit. So I'm going with go Tigers.
Oh, no. Look, man, I saw Florida State work LSU, and Tennessee's got a far better offense. So night game maybe makes it a little harder, but I don't know, man.
It's a night?
It's a night game.
Oh my God. You've been there at night?
No.
Let me tell you.
I don't like the smell of corn dogs. Okay. Well, and it may, like I said, it may make a difference. It may make a huge difference. I still don't think LSU's beating them.
All right.
Because Brian Kelly is not a good football coach.
No, he's a good football coach. He's just a murderer. This is different.
Not a good. No, this is my Bo Nix take. Brian Kelly is not a good football coach.
I'm with you, Hirsch.
All right.
Still a murderer.
Next game, the Texas Christian Horned Frog Boomer Sooner Killers versus the Cinderella Darlings, the Kansas Jayhawks at Kansas. Mike.
Unfortunately, Cinderella doesn't find her slipper. Gotta go Horn Dogs. Horn Frogs.
Horn Dogs.
Horn Dogs. Still got this respiratory infection, man.
Kansas struggled with Duke, and they struggled a little bit this past weekend as well. I'm not a believer in them, even though they're playing good, and the quarterback is making some plays, but haven't really played anybody yet. Shout out to them for having game day there for the first time, I believe, as far as football. But TCU.
Yeah, man, I'm going with my favorite non-traditional uniforms in college football, man, the TCU Horned Frogs. I love the black and purple guys down there. I think they're gonna go ahead and pop that balloon. All right, here's one that got us all last weekend. Utah at UCLA. We all thought UCLA was gonna just roll over dead last week, and they surprised us. That's the other Kelly that that actually can coach a little bit. Wes, yeah, that's you.
I'm not. The better Utah play. I mean, the more they win, the better it looks for us. So I'm gonna ride with the Utes this weekend.
Mike,
he wants to pick Chip. I can see it.
Yeah, he likes Chip. No,
he wants to pick Chip so bad. It's in the Rose Bowl, Mike. It's in the Rose Bowl.
That don't mean nothing. That just means they're gonna have 20,000 fans.
Utah does not do well really against scrambling quarterbacks. I gotta go Chip.
Oh man,
Chip's the boy.
He's just trying to be different now.
Still surprised. Chip.
Nah, man. We thought the Utah game might be close last week, and them boys dog walked them.
Yep.
Utah's in their bag right now, man. I gotta go with Utah until
they slip up. They slipped up last year.
I know they already slipped up, but I mean, I don't know. I just like that kid, man. I like that quarterback. I
do as well.
I think he's a baller. All right, because of what it is, we're gonna call it, but I think we all know where this one's going. A&M at Bama. Mike.
Roll Tide.
And this is probably without Heisman winner
Roll
Bryce
Tide.
Young.
This is my take. Jimbo is not a good football coach.
What?
He's not.
Like right now or overall?
Without Jameis, he has done nothing.
He really hasn't.
Bama. What has he
Nothing?
done without Jameis?
All right,
Nothing.
here's this. I'm picking Bama as well because I think it's a no-nonsense pick. But let me pose this question. I said before the show, I told y'all I was going to ask y'all this when we got here. If Jimbo does and loses this game and does so convincingly, how hot does that seat get?
It's still 05 years. They can't get rid of him. They made their bed, now they lay with it.
I wouldn't say that.
Them boys can pay out anybody.
He'll get one more year, and then he's on the hot seat next year.
Yeah.
Okay. Because, I mean, they haven't looked good at all.
$50 million is $50 million. I mean,
no.
That's a drop in the hat to one of them boosters.
You know they wrote a check. I think it was what was it? It was like 20. It was a ridiculous amount of money to someone one-time check.
The money ain't the problem. They call them 4 or 5 boosters they have up and have that check cashed in an hour. But I think a lot of people got to take a little bit off because that recruiting class isn't going to just pay like immediate dividends. Like you've got to give
Correct.
That's why he's not a good coach. Never mind, but go ahead. We can move on. I'm not going to have that discussion about Jimbo. Mike wants to get into it about it, but we'll save that for the later day. Not a good coach.
We'll save that for A&M week. How about that? We'll revisit.
Yeah. That's why you the host.
All right, guys. Things came crashing back down to earth last weekend in Tallahassee, and now those boys get to travel out to the Wolf Pack, the Wolf Den, Florida State at NC State. Wes?
Yeah, I watched both games, Florida State against Wake Forest, and I watched North Carolina State versus Clemson. North Carolina State, better team. They will win. Both teams coming off losses. I'm going with the Wolfpack. Plus, they're at home, and that team is very well coached.
I know what Mike's going to say. Me and Mike said it earlier in the year. Don't turn your back on the Wolfpack, baby.
Woo! Hey, I was trying to get the clip really quick.
Too sweet. Yeah. Wolfpack gonna roll, baby. Think FSU Twitter's gonna get gonna come crashing in on themselves real fast here.
Yeah.
You ready for this? You ready for this? And it's a night game.
And it's a night game.
And then they have Clemson, I think, in 2 weeks too. So they have a bye
like
in Clemson. Yeah.
That 4-0 start's gonna look real suspect in a couple of weeks.
Yeah.
All right. Staying in the big three. UNC at Miami. Ooh, baby. Mike, what you think?
Miami's going to lose by double digits. Dike does not fit that system. They're still trying to run a Big Ten scheme without. It's a square peg round hole. Mark Cristobal is an awful in-game head coach. They're saying that. Everyone's known this, and UNC scores a lot of points. They probably have a top 3 quarter. May top 3 quarterback in the ACC?
Yeah, I'm not going to pick with my heart on this. I would love for UNC to win. I just don't believe in that. That defense is just hard to. I can't pick defense for UNC, so I'm going with Miami.
Thank you.
UNC does have a bad defense. You know who else has a bad defense? Miami.
What argument is that? Don't let him change that.
Nah, I'm not going to change it, but I mean, Miami's defense is not worse than UNC's.
There was a misnomer before the season. There was a top 10 listing of quarterbacks in the country and whatnot. And obviously we know the Will Levis was on there, who's not a good quarterback. But you know who else was on there that's not a good quarterback? Tyler Van Dyke is not a good quarterback. I mean, all that shine that he had last year when games didn't much matter is wearing off real fast. We've already seen Garcia get the call.
Scheme fit.
This might be the week that he gets the permanent call.
Yep.
I don't see it, man. I think UNC did it to them once before. I think UNC puts up a big number on them. I'm talking 40 plus.
Yep,
Easily.
I agree.
All right. Arkansas at Mississippi State. Wes, your turn.
This is tough. This is so tough for me. Mississippi State I knew they were going to win last week. They beat LSU for me. Was it LSU? Yeah, they did it for me. And I hate to pick against them, but I picked Pittman as my second in the West, so I feel like I'm picking against Arkansas as well. Mike Leach might win second in the West this year. Yikes! This is so hard for me, guys. It pains me to go against Mike Leach after what he did for me last week, but I'm gonna go with Arkansas and Sam Pittman's. This is a tough game. This is really a pick'em game.
Mike.
It's not difficult for a man who predicted App State as 16-point underdog over Texas A&M. So I'm going to go with the most interesting man in the world, Michael.
The Pirate.
Lynch. The Pirate.
I don't know if KJ's playing this week or not. I know he got hurt last week.
I don't get to change that if he's hurt.
I don't know if he's playing or not. I don't know. So, I mean, I'm making my pick blind.
You know, that was last freaking week.
Mike's trying to come back on me, man. He hates that third place, guys.
Man, I'm going to tell you right now, the Pirates got it in him. And I know, I know I said it wrong before and all that, but, man, they're going to have that place ringing. I'm going to go with Mike Leach, too, man. They got something special working down there this year. He's trying to make all them boys forget Dan Mullen ever existed, which isn't hard, but, I mean.
Never heard of her.
Yeah. All right, staying in the SEC, guys. South Carolina at Kentucky. Mike, I know you don't ever bet on a Spencer Rattler-led team.
He's just
Levis.
He's from.
This is his ultimate nightmare.
The only person missing is Bo Nix. That's the only person missing is Bo.
Bo should have been stands for this one.
I got some inside information on Spencer Rattler. He's a terrible human being. So, actually, not so much, but not the best. He's from the state of Arizona. Soft as Charmin. It's not good. Even though Will Levis is not good at football, he's better at football than Spencer Rattler. So, and also
that's not saying much.
And Stoops is.
This is great. This is why I picked this. It's Mike's nightmare.
Stoops is a good coach. So they got a solid defense. They got the running back Rodriguez back. They still have they have a couple. They got some dynamic talent outside as well. So
Wes,
Kentucky. I spent a whole lot of time on that game because I hate both.
Yeah, I'm going to go with Kentucky as well because I've said it. We've said it many times. I think those wheels at South Carolina are going to go off fast. Like, I just got a feeling that it's just going to be – maybe I shouldn't say fast. Maybe I should say it's just going to be a slow burn, and then it's just going to blow. I got a feeling by the time they get to us, that's going to be ugly.
Spurs showed how great a coach he is at what he did when he was there at South Carolina. He was phenomenal there. Shout out to the old ball coach.
All right. Well, let's two more real quick. We're gonna knock these out. These shouldn't really be hard. Washington State at USC. Washington State 4-1 on the season. USC undefeated. Mike, did you go first last time? No, Wes.
Yeah, it's my turn. Yeah, I'm gonna go with Caleb Williams and the Trojans.
Mike.
USA. At home.
Yeah, it's at home. I'm going to go ahead and pick USC too. Their schedule's lining up favorable. I'm ready for them to play somebody that's worth the crap. All right. Last game on the docket. College football's oldest rivalry. Auburn at UGA. Wes?
Yeah. Auburn looks horrible. Mike said the coach. I think you both were just ragging on the Auburn coach, so I won't spend a whole lot of time on this. UJ bounces back, and they get the victory this week. As I think it's convincing too. I think they might be upset at the Mizzou loss, and they kind of beat the crap out of Auburn this week.
Mike.
Brian Harsin sucks.
He's so bad.
He's awful. Yeah, what? Yeah, so it's UGA, man. It's gonna be.
I'd like to see this. I'd like to see UGA struggle again this week. That'd be fantastic, just to really know that they.
I hope they lose.
I don't think they will, but I want to see. I'd like to see them have another dog fight on their hands, just to no pun intended, but
Yeah.
We'll see. But that's our picks for the weeks, guys. We'll tally them up like we do at the end of the weekend and get back to y'all next week and let us know where we're at. But with that being said, guys, it's been another great episode. We're about to jump up out of here. Like I said, next week we're going to have a lot to talk about, especially on the recruiting front, getting into the LSU game. Hopefully we're talking about it as a 4-2 football team and have a dominant showing this weekend. Look good going into the LSU game. Rivalry week. Don't care what anyone says. LSU is a rivalry week. It's going to be a huge game, night game, like we said. So should be a lot to talk about next week. But as always, guys, Mike, you got anything you want to say before we get out of here?
Bateman got us.
Bateman has us.
What I kick it. Yeah.
I know we have like 2 minutes left. So just no question. I just goes back to me, Mike. I know we haven't given our fans anything today, so I'm just ask this question, right? 2 minutes we have left. Harder position to play, safety or D tackle? And your reasons why? God. I have to ask, man.
Just show me. It's just not a black and white question. There's a lot of variables that have to be into play: their age, scheme, so on and so forth. So this is not a black and white question. So
just tell them which one is harder.
I mean, I would, base. I would have to say safety, more responsibilities. But I mean, it's just like there's a lot of variables. I mean, that was
my point earlier.
To go to your point, which I know you're trying to get at. To start out your freshman season, it's the same exact thing. So you're wrong. So I'm not gonna. You're trying to backdoor an answer. It's exactly what you're trying.
No, that's the right answer.
It's pretty.
No.
So no, I'm not.
You said
it's into the show. I have time for this.
Nah, you said after end. You said your comment was, and this for speaking. You said the further away you play is the easier. And that's not you can't compare corner and safety.
On campus,
hold on. Let me finish. When you first get on campus, a safety and a corner playing further away, they play furthest away from any position on the field. Safety and corner, the corner has it easier than the safety. You can't compare safety and corner as far as you're having the better position. Cool. I know I am.
No, you're
Thank you.
Pure ignorance, but sure.
Thank you. I appreciate it. I know it was right.
I don't know how I deal with this, guys.
Blatant ignorance. It's literally quotes in that weekly by announcers and reporters.
We got to roll out of here. No Mike's got DoorDash showing up or something, and Mike's stomach rules all. So, guys, before I kick it to Wes, I'm gonna say it like I say it every week. You can find us on all your major podcast providers. Please make sure you go ahead, download the episode, set it to pre-download if you can. Just so you can go ahead every episode. It helps us out a ton. Like I said, guys, make sure you check out our YouTube channel. We really appreciate all your help with that. We can use all the subscribers we can get. It helps us build our brand and our channel and helps us tremendously as creators. You know the rest, guys. We say it all the time. We love y'all, man. So with that being said, Wes, take us home.
Yeah, thank you, guys. Still pumping out that Facebook content. So if you guys are on Facebook, please join our Facebook at Respect Our Decision. We are putting the content there. Again, Hirsch does a great job with our Friday Night Lights content. We should be back this week with the high school guys in Florida. I will have that on Facebook as well. And if you know any veterans or you're a veteran yourself and you need some help, assistance with trying to get your benefits as far as disability is concerned, please reach out to us and we will help you guys. We appreciate you guys. We're thankful for all the views where we've been getting, the downloads. Please like us, like Hershey's been saying. We really love you guys, and go Gators.
Go Gators, guys. Mike.
Go Gators.
That's right. Love y'all, Gator Nation. We'll catch you next week.